Hey, wonderfuls. Welcome back to Helpers High by me, Tiffany. Can you believe we are on episode 10? Well, hot diggity, we did it. It's over now, right? Just kidding. I just wanted to give you some gratitude and thank you for all of you showing up, showing out, dropping messages, dropping lines, all of the things, and tell you that I truly appreciate your support. Now, in this particular episode, we're going to do like a recap. We're going to go back to the episodes and touch points on different ones and highlight them a little bit. But truthfully, this entire episode is going to be based on gratitude. And when I say gratitude, I think we think of all different terms and forms of gratitude, which we should, but we're going to deeper dive into that and talk about gratitude as a standalone product. Okay? All right. Always be grateful, they say. But can we be honest? Gratitude gets packaged like some universal cure-all. Like anything that's wrong in our life and we're in our feelings, in our emotions, we should be grateful for it. So you go to somebody and let them know that you're just not feeling what's happening in this moment. Not that I'm not grateful for everything that I have, just this particular thing is just not sitting right. Sometimes you hear from someone when you're venting, oh, you should be thankful. And I'm like, thankful for what? The manipulation, the stress, the extra work for no reason? Are you hearing a word that I'm saying? This has nothing to do with being thankful overall. This has nothing to do with not being grateful. I'm talking about this particular instance that's not sitting right in my soul. Can you hear me? Am I talking to you? It's like, oh, thank you so much for teaching me how to cry in the bathroom stall or anywhere else where people won't see me. Is that what we're calling growth these days? Listen, just be grateful you're learning something, please. In the moment, that lesson, I'm not interested right now. What I'm interested in is relief, right? I want to vent and I want to swear a little bit. And I actually want you to say, man, that sucks. You want to go out for a drink? And heck, the truth is, I don't even drink. I just like the audience, right? So anyway, that's what you want to hear in the moment. Somebody just telling you to suck it up, buttercup. That's not what we're looking for all the time. Gratitude is only powerful when it's genuine. That's the truth. When it's forced, it's a performance. You're walking around pretending to be grateful for everything, even though this particular thing is really off your course, right? So it's okay to feel resentment, frustration, exhaustion. There's nothing wrong with those. Those are honest feelings. So you can be fully thankful for the things that you have, but in a particular moment feel some of these feelings that don't align. And that's okay. So gratitude shouldn't erase them all. Eventually, they'll even be able to coexist, but it won't be until you're ready. So that's why when other people are telling you be thankful, it doesn't feel right. It's not going to sit well because that's not where you are in this particular moment. Let's separate the two because there's gratitude to people, and I think this is where we get a little confused and we get caught up in the ways that we do things. There's gratitude to people. That's about human connection. That's about relationships, right? When you're grateful to people, you're acknowledging kindness, effort, support, presence. It kind of builds us up and strengthens all of our relationships. And that's gratitude to people. So like you're saying, I appreciate you. I see what you did. Again, people. And then you have gratitude to our higher calling. For me, it's my God. For you, it may be your God, your universe, your earth, you yourself, whoever it is that you look up to as the higher source of energy for you. And that's our spiritual grounding, right? So when you're thankful or grateful in that sense of a higher being, you're acknowledging that life itself, the breath, the fact that we woke up this morning, the fact that we're here listening and talking to each other, even the hard stuff, it expands our faith, our perspective, and gives us peace. So in that moment, we're saying, thank you for the experience, even though I don't even fully understand it yet. So, I continue to talk about these epiphanies. And these epiphanies, I understand that I'm hearing them and I'm seeing them, and sometimes they are making absolutely no sense to me. And some of you, again, have those feelings, but you're not tuned in, because most likely that is when you're super off purpose. It's not going to make any sense to you, and you're quickly able to tune those voices out. So you got to be careful. I had somebody actually tell me that they did not get intuitive thoughts. And it's not that we don't get intuitive thoughts. That is not at all possible. We don't listen to them. Sometimes we stop trusting them. Lack of faith, lack of belief doesn't make you understand that what you're hearing and what you're a part of is bigger than something that you can imagine, because it's not scientific. It can't be seen or written on paper or any of that, right? So no explanation means it can't possibly be, is what some folks think. So if that's you, so be it. So when the gratitude for people and the gratitude for our spiritual higher calling overlap, which they will, absolutely, it actually brings more peace and emotional strength. It reminds us that everything is not broken. You know, one of the things that we do quite well as humans, and again, when I say as humans, I mean human nature itself, is that we jump to absolutes. And honestly, this could be a whole segment in itself, but I'm going to touch a piece of it, and then eventually, possibly, I'll come back to this. It is so dangerous, some of the behaviors that we've taught ourselves and the practices that we do, because we've started speaking to each other in words that use always, never, no one, everyone. And when I say that, you can think of a time where you're like, everyone was there. Why weren't you there? No, everyone wasn't there because you just said I wasn't there. So we use those words because it seems like it completes a sentence quicker and it tells our story faster to the point, but they're really dangerous words because it has your beliefs thinking that everyone is. So when we talked about everyone wanting the price of eggs to go down, that wasn't the case at all. Everyone didn't care about the price of eggs. And you're seeing that now. There are things that we're saying and doing that make us believe and stay stuck in the world that we know it to be. Everyone's broke. Everyone's educated. Everyone knows better. Everyone's doing it. No, that is not the case. So absolute words, please be conscious, be mindful to start removing them from your dictionary, and make sure that your inner circle is called out when they're doing it as well. Because that's, again, that feeling is hard to shake when you believe that you are the minority in something that's going on, especially if the something is bad. Okay. So again, both can interrupt negativity and shift our focus when we're grateful. So whether we're grateful to people or grateful to our higher being, it stops the negativity. So that's really what we're looking for. Okay. And then, of course, the more grateful you are, the more things are attracted to you and the more things that you're attracted to, which then expands our base. It makes us go from, oh, I'm willing to try something that I never tried before, which starts a different conversation, which starts different emotions going, which starts a different reaction. So listen, while gratitude reminds us and feeds our relationships and our connections with others, gratitude also feeds our resilience. It makes it easier for us to bounce back. So when these things in our life are not going the way that we expected it to, when we have gratitude for the small moments, we're able to jump back into our space and put ourselves back in the position that we belong in. So let's talk about this for 2 seconds here, because I'm not shocked by it, but I'm highly disappointed when I realize that this is the truth. And unfortunately, I realize that all too often, but let's talk about it for a second. Did you know that people will hate you for your ability to help? Yeah, they will. And it says everything about them. It doesn't say anything about the help that you're providing or what you're willing to do for others. If you are that helper as well, the people that you're helping are not necessarily going to be the ones who are going to turn around and return that type of help, that type of favor to you. That is not what this is about. You're going to do what you can, and you're going to allow people to do what they can. Some people cannot. Do you understand that? So I'm going to give you this little analogy. Have you ever gone to the eye doctor, right? And there's a certain procedure. Sometimes they even dilate your eye and give you those cool sunglasses and everything. Now, that doctor seems extremely knowledgeable, right? They are there, they're letting you know at the end of it, you're able to see clearly out of those goggle things that's in your face, all of the things happens, right? Have you ever then said, wow, you seem like somebody who knows a lot. There is this pain in my back that happens when I stand up. Can you tell me what that is? I'll give you a second. No, you've never done that. But we do that with people all the time. We believe that the people in our life are supposed to wear different hats, that they're supposed to be great at this and great at this. Sometimes there are people that are, and that's awesome. People have their specialty. There are some people who are good listeners. There are some people who are good talkers. There are some people who can do both. There are some people who are kind. There are some people who are empathetic. It is different, believe it or not. Just because I'm kind doesn't mean I'm empathetic. I can name 5 people in my life, in my inner circle right now, super kind, super grateful, super thoughtful. They are not empathetic. That's not who they are. We have to be mindful that the people in our life have a purpose. And when you go beyond that realm and want one person to somehow pseudo double, like this is Loki in his time travel, that is where we're going to set ourselves up for failure, okay? In this world, Loki has one purpose, okay? So if he's the alligator here, I would advise you to not invite him for dinner. Okay, I digress. I'm all over the place. So let me get back on topic, okay? So helping others shines a light. And there are some people who have gotten so used to living in darkness that light that you keep on coming over here with and shining it in their face makes them feel super uncomfortable. That is not who they are. And sometimes people are easily reminded and sometimes triggered. Kindness reminds them that they've numbed things in their life, that they've ignored things in their life, and that they've stopped believing. So your kindness is actually painful to them. It can actually be seen as a threat. But hear me out. Even though that's 100% true, that it's a threat to them, that they don't feel good inside when we come with this joy, with this energy and this passion, it is not our cue to dim our light and make sure that we're healing their wounds. That's not what we're here to do. So be careful. Make decisions wisely. I don't need to lower my who I am to appease your who you feel like being or who you are. For those who are vocal in having conversations about your light, your glow, your positive attitude that they are just over, so what? Let them talk. Being grateful doesn't mean settling. We're not here to impress critics. We're here to impact lives. And it's not going to be everyone. And we're good with that, right? The odds say be your natural self, and the people who are here for you will find you. We will find our people. That's what we do. We're humans. We find our tribe. And if the tribe that you're in right now does not satisfy your soul, it's also something to consider. It may be time to shift. Keep being the kind of person that the world needs so desperately. You at your 100% authenticity is going to bring so many passionate caregivers wanting of the same to you. And now, trust me, do I understand that this works sometimes for bad? That people with bad intent also find each other? Yes. But that's not you. You would not be here in episode 10 if you had an ounce of that type of character or personality. I can see by my numbers that I have lost some of my followers, and that is okay. What I am doing right now is being authentically me, and I am 100% certain that my people will find me when it's their time. So don't you and I worry our pretty little heads about that. So listen, I said it before and I'll say it again. What people think about me, especially when they're not willing to have this conversation with me, is none of my business. Talk. Heck, Cat Williams says, if you don't have someone to hate on, feel free to hate on me. I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. Not everybody is, but we'll get there and we'll get there together. But I say, ever so kind. You hear again how I lowered my voice to make connection with you? Be careful how you talk to me. That is very different. I don't mind the chatter behind my back, and I don't mind the chatter to my face if it's honesty and in truth. But when you talk to me in a way that doesn't sit right with my soul, you can expect a response. You can expect a reply. And as long as you're good with that, and I have people in my life who are, I'm not purposefully trying to hurt feelings, and I'm sure you did not come in with the intent to hurt mine. But now this is going to be a dialogue, because if you say something, I'm going to respond back, either out of curiosity, passion, concern. There's a reason we're going to have a conversation, right? Don't let my smile fool you. Don't let my loud laughter fool you. And don't allow this awesome presence to fool you. I am truly kind, but I am not soft. I'm still from Brooklyn. I can say so many things to that. Here's the thing. You don't get to treat me any way that you want to and think that I'm going to continue to show up the way that you want me to. We're going to have words. We're going to have conversations. That's who I am. So if there is something that doesn't sit right in my spirit, I am going to be vocal about it. So yes, silence may be comfortable for them or you, but truth, trust, understanding, compassion, empathy is more valuable to me. So this is where we are in this conversation. Is it possible to be grateful and still not love everything? I think that's where we get torn on these conversations, because no one wants to seem ungrateful, especially if you have so many things going for you, right? I go to the send it back at the restaurant conversation, right? Everything is going well, the ambiance, it's beautiful, everything is exactly as it's designed to be, and then you get your meal and it's not delish. Do you send it back? Because if you do, folks at the table may believe that you're not being grateful. So do you just sit there and not eat anything? Is that what some of you would do? Yeah, I wouldn't. I think there's a way to be grateful, courteous, and kind at the same time, while also voicing your opinion in things that you're just not okay with. And yes, even though it may be a fine line, there is a line between I am not 100% satisfied and I know that you can do better versus I'll just take what you're willing to give me. So let me say this from my core, because some of you have someone that you need to tell this to. You can absolutely say, yes, I appreciate you. Yes, I see what you've done for me. Yes, I am grateful. But appreciation is not a contract. I don't owe you anything because you've done something for me. I'm going to assume that I earned what you gave me, that I deserve what I have, that you and I already made an agreement. And that's what I was appreciative of. They don't get to guilt trip us into believing that somehow we owe them unconditional support going forward. If there is something that they're doing that no longer satisfies our soul, we should speak up for it. So let me clarify. We're not being difficult at that point. We're not being ungrateful at that point. We heard what you said. We're confused. We're concerned. Because you've done something kind for me in the past doesn't mean that I can't question you in the future. We stay on purpose by questioning each other's decisions. That's what's going to keep us rooted in who we are, in what we actually believe, in our core beliefs. If you have to betray your voice just to be liked, that's not gratitude. That's a performance. Do you want to wake up every day not satisfied to what your soul needs to move forward? Gratitude doesn't mean that we have to swallow injustice. We can be grateful for having a door on our home, but still call out that there's termites that we need to address. If you're one who's ever said to someone, mind your business, don't rock the boat, and be grateful for what you have, I see you. And I get that that's a decision that you have made and one that you can be comfortable with. But don't think that everybody is that way. Not everybody is wired like that at all. Some of us, though, wrestle all night long with things that we've made a decision not to address. Just in case you're wondering, what's so bad about swallowing a little bit of injustice to somebody who gave you such benefits, such kindness, such favors? I'll tell you, when we silence our own voice, it chips away at our confidence over time. We start gaslighting our own selves before anybody else gets the chance to. And as you can imagine, this is dangerous. These are the things that, again, keep us awake all night, have us doubting every move that we make, and fearful of making decisions that would actually give us ultimate joy in life. And for me, one of the worst consequences is we start becoming what we hate. To survive, we start adapting the dysfunction. And you know how that goes. Some of us were raised in homes that were highly dysfunctional. And there are behaviors and practices, believe it or not, that you have continued into your adult life based on what you saw growing up as a kid. In our workspaces, if there is dysfunction, we start ignoring them to the point that we mirror the behaviors that we once questioned. We mirror it to our peers, we mirror it to our subordinates, we mirror it to our higher ups. We understand that there is a way of doing business here. Quickly, we start enforcing some of the same harm that once hurt us. You know, in the sororities and fraternities, there are some chapters that still haze to this day. And haze looks different. Sometimes it's just embarrassing moments, it's putting lipstick on you while you're sleeping, and sometimes it's actual abuse, physical and emotional abuse. Now, when those same very ones were crossing their line, they hated those moments. It was fearful. They hated everything about it. But somehow it became the norm. Once they crossed over, they feel like they deserve to give it to you. That you will have a stronger understanding and a sense of purpose if I treat you the way I was treated. Even though at the time I know it was disrespectful, harmful, hurtful, and it did not satisfy my soul. Somehow, here I am doing it right back to you. Again, human nature. Our beliefs, our practices, they're enrooted in us. We have to be consciously aware of things that we are doing that would not have satisfied our souls if we were in the same position. You lose trust in yourself and in others. You start questioning everything. You don't know who it's safe to talk to anymore. You don't trust anyone in your circle. So you're just moving blind, miserable, and not content. By tolerating dysfunction in silence, which is fine if that's a decision that you made for yourself and the consequences only apply to you. But in most of our circles, that's not the case. You've made that decision and you've made that decision for yourself and for multiple other people to fall under you. Because here's why. Because you are accepting it, it starts being acceptable for the others around you as well. In your home, in your workplace, in your gym, wherever it is that we spend so much time. And the disrespect gets normalized and the more frequent. So what happens at that point is it's like go big or go home. If I did this to you and you said nothing, then that means that I possibly could do that to you, that I possibly could do this and that to you, that I possibly can do this, that, this, that to you. It is not funny, but you get it. So let's do our helper's high pulse check. We're going to do this one on swallowing injustice. We're going to see where we stand in our relationships and if we've actually swallowed injustice. First thing that I want you to do is think of a place that we spend most of our time. And by most of our time, I'm going to say at least a work day. So 8 hours, 10 hours, whether it's home, whether it's at a function that we do, whether it's at our side piece's house, wherever it is. Are you silencing yourself just to be accepted? Do you feel like you have to shrink to keep the peace sometimes? Don't show up as your authentic self. Let them think they know who you are, and that keeps everything quiet and content. Have you started normalizing dysfunction just to survive? And last, do you feel unsafe being honest in this environment? Too many yeses? I'm going to ask, why? What's this plan of yours? How long is this supposed to last? If you know all the things that you know right now, how long do you continue sickening yourself to make sure other people can thrive? So I'm going to share some things that I know firsthand. When you show up fully as your authentic 100% self, people are going to misunderstand you. There's no doubt about it. Or at least they're going to claim to misunderstand you. So hear me out. When we ask questions, we're going to be called disruptive. When we set our boundaries, we're going to be labeled as aggressive. I've told you that people have said about me and not to me, there's just something about her. They know damn well what it is. When we laugh out loud and tell the truth and we're happy when they're not, we're going to be told that we're too much. Why is this, you ask? All right, I'll tell you why. Because the truth is, most people do not see us for who we are. People see us through their own lens, their own wounds, their expectations, their limitations, their past experience. So they are not judging you for who you are. They're judging you for who they think you are based on their knowledge of someone or something that reminds you of them. So when we show up fully confident, authentic, bold, vulnerable, it disrupts the norm. It challenges the roles that people have assigned to us. And some people misunderstand us because our freedom makes them uncomfortable, because truth doesn't require their approval. And sometimes they're not misunderstanding us at all, as I said. They just can't control you, and that bothers them. So they call you too much. They call you fake. They say you're changing. They call you intimidating. Let's be clear. Their misunderstanding is not a cue to shrink. It's not a cue to try to do everything you need to blend in. It's not a cue to silence our voice so that we can be liked. It's a cue to continue. Because when you know who you are, consequences don't override fate. So I'm asking you, are you blessed or not? Do you believe in yourself or not? Are you willing to bet on yourself or not? Staying in an environment that doesn't satisfy your soul is not worth it. It will give you stress, anxiety, depression. You will live a shorter, unhealthy lifespan, all because you are not satisfying your purpose and what God has put you here for, what your universe has put you here for, what your spirit has designed you to be is not being fulfilled. So you're useless, is really the words. We cannot live in our purpose and hide from our truth at the same time. It doesn't even make sense. That's not going to work. So real alignment is always going to make noise before it makes sense. And it doesn't need to make sense to other people around you. We can love our lives the way they are right now, but still want more. Yes, we are thankful and grateful for every lesson that we've survived, for every moment that we had a chance to learn something from every moment that we created, and we can still prepare for what's next. This chapter is great. I still am writing a book though, so I need to know what happens in the next chapter. I need to plan for it. So here are some of the steps that work for Tiffani. These may or may not work for you, but should you choose to accept the mission, you can think of these consciously and tweak them to your own needs. Okay? All right. So the first one I'm going to share is that we have to get clear with what we're allowing. So you know that I talked a lot about boundaries. They are absolutely importante. Do you understand me? Set boundaries. Reclaim the tone. We're not too much. We're not asking of you too much. We just have needs. We have questions. We found out that it doesn't align with our soul. I don't know if you want to say that to everyone. It might sound a little crazy. However, what they're noticing is that we're no longer easy to manipulate. So you decide, are you okay with a little manipulation in your life from others? You may be. Don't silence my sparkle, my laugh, my presence, my volume on how I project my voice. They're not flaws. Know your why. It's okay to ask the why. If you want to be on purpose, you have to know what it is that we're doing. What's the ultimate end game here? It's not to change anything or to be right about the moment. It's to be able to add value if you understood what other people need, want, desire, and what would work best for most people, right? So knowing your why is extremely important. Set the new standard. If they can't respect the honesty, then they don't need more access. In episode 1, I was very clear on saying that we have to be mindful of the good things that are happening because they far outweigh the bad things that are happening. And if we don't put a conscious spin on it, then we're going to truly believe that the things that are happening are all doom and gloom. And that is not the truth. Every day there are good statistics that are happening, but we know that what resonates best with folks is negative talk. But don't do that to yourself. For yourself, you have to acknowledge all of the good things that are happening. That's what's going to make us sleep easy at night, is knowing that everything is not doom and gloom. But it's much easier to live in fear. We've found great ways to promote fear in people's lives, whether it's the news or social media and so forth. There are an abundance of things that make you concerned about us living. Are you living anyway? If you are not satisfying your soul and you wake up every day depressed and full of anxiety, not being your authentic self, and not 1 ounce of joy lives in your spirit, are you living? Every day, thankfully, there are people in our lives that do good things for us multiple times a day. Some of them we'll be able to interact with because we know them by name, and some of them are just strangers on the street in a passing by. Whether they cut you into a line and let you come over, whether they wave to you as you're passing down the street, whether they nod their heads as you're passing by on a strip of a mall. There are kind people everywhere. So one of the first things that I say is a reminder to ourselves, but something that I say is a reminder to them. So I'm going to give you a mini challenge. Send a thank you text to somebody. And not the one that says, oh, thank you for cooking me dinner last night. No. One that says, thank you for just being here. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for always being someone that I can depend on. Thank you for showing up in my life. Thank you for showing up for my children. Thank you for your smile. It's infectious. A genuine thank you. I'm sure you can think of somebody right now off the top of your head that deserves to hear a thank you. And again, not for something that they did for you, specifically, physically, tangible, something that they did for your spirit. So let me share some next step tips on gratitude. And again, super important that we're conscious of what to be thankful for, when, and how to be thankful for it. Not by selling our souls, but by really appreciating the things that are good in our lives while we call out what could be better in a nice way. Again, this is not to be rude or demanding at all. It's just, I see an opportunity for something to be better. Let me share how. But the first thing that we want to do is at least once a week, if not more. I do mine's daily sometimes. Um, Things that are going well for you. Write them down, like actually write them down. Get a notepad, put them in your phone, in the notes section, send yourself an email. But be conscious that something happened good for you today and it was something that you didn't expect. Heck, somebody gave you, a bottle of water. Whatever it is, write it down. You didn't expect it. It happened that was good and it was kind of a nice feeling. Write it down. It's really that simple. Write somebody a kind note. If you're in an office space, get one of those little stickies and write somebody a nice note right now. Stick it on their screen while they're not in the office and let them come back to that. And I'm going to say the last one, and this is super big. Again, it could probably be its own segment, but challenge an inherited belief. Some of us are walking around with beliefs and practices that do not belong to us. They were inherited by our culture, by our parents, by our guardians, by the situations that we were in as we grew up. So they don't belong to us, so they don't satisfy our soul. And what's happening though is that we have absorb them and we're also passing them down to other people around us as true beliefs and facts. And I'll give you one more quick story because this one was so apparent to me. I had a girlfriend, or I have a girlfriend, that has a daughter, and she is overwhelmed with her daughter and how her daughter believes in the things that she believes in, how steadfast, focused, independent, but in a sometimes harmful way that she is. And she is concerned for her daughter's well being. I had a chance to spend some time with her daughter, and I can tell you, she's so much like her mom. The challenge is that her mom understood what that power is, and she has used it in her life to take care of her and her daughter. Things that she had to do, that independence was necessary because she was a single mom. Her daughter is not a single mom. Her daughter is just a girl with a big spirit and high and independent tendencies that she's not even qualified or comes with any pamphlet to know how to. So it comes across as manipulation, it comes across as scheming, it comes across as lying, it comes across as so many different ways because she's not trying to provide a life for her and her daughter. She's just trying to get by. So some of the things that she's using as tips and tools of the trade doesn't apply to her life now. And it looks different on paper, but guess what? It reminded me so much of the things that her mom is best at. It's just that she does not know how to use it. So I don't know who needed to hear that, but we absolutely pass down things that we don't mean to. And we pass them down that even if it is a great trait, because what's not great about teaching your child how to be independent? You haven't told them why you needed to do certain things, why your survival skills, why your survival mode had to kick in, and what you needed to do to make that difference. So even though they saw that piece as a good trait, they don't understand that they don't need to do that in the time that they're in right now. You've provided that for them, right? So until the next time, stay kind, stay on purpose, and stay giving people all of you. Be 100% authentic. That's why you were put here. So life is good, but there's always room for opportunity. So if anyone tells you that you're too much, you just smile and say, maybe for you. Oh, how often I'll have to say that. But together we make magic. See you next time, guys.